Hey everybody, here's something you don't see every day. This is a clown shoe, also known as the Mutant M6, or as I used to refer to it, the M90. This is Juffo's clown shoe in particular. Although I used to, mock people that bought one of these because it was the M90. I kinda wish I'd picked one up because holy shit, this tank is fucking ridiculous. Because pubbies don't see these things anymore, they're probably one of the rarest tanks to encounter in a pub match. They don't know how to pen them. And it actually does have decent frontal armor for its tier, which is obviously tier 8. And now, Wargaming have buffed it when it didn't need a buff by giving it tier 8 preferential matchmaking. Now its gun is a slight weakness. It's the same gun the T-32 has, so its pen isn't really spectacular. But its armor was good enough that even in tier 9 games it would stand up quite well. But now even in tier 10 games to an extent, but now it only sees tier 9s max, so it doesn't have to worry about not being able to pen tier 10s with its gun, even though the T-32 still has to worry about not being able to pen tier 10s with that gun, and so does the Patton. Go figure, Wargaming logic. Anyway, in light of the recent buff, Juffo decided to take his clown shoe out for some more fun. He plays this thing fairly regularly, and is one of the few players who does so, as far as I'm aware. I very rarely see them actually. He heads for the forest on the recently reworked Moravanka. Unfortunately, my pro forest strat, which I stole shamelessly off Aristat, no longer works, because the forest is now just so much different. There's hills, the trees are all thinned out, it's just awful. Well, I mean, it's not awful because now the map actually moves, but it's no good for spotting in a medium tank anymore, which makes me very sad, because I used to love seeing this map in my Object 430. The clown shoe is not exactly fast, so Juffo's mediums and some of the TDs even are able to get ahead of him while he has to hang back a bit in support. Always carry a fire extinguisher, kids. His position though means he's actually in a great place to help out, because if the enemy tanks get around his forward heavies and TDs, he's in a good place to mop them up. However, some of his team go down, and he now finds himself at the forefront of the push, almost. Most of the enemy tanks are spread out in a diagonal line E1 through A9, which is actually quite odd. They made no attempt to control the forest. In fact, they made no attempt to make map control at all. They've cordoned off about quarter or a third of the map, and they haven't really done anything with it. Only now in the west they start pushing out. Juffo pushes up into a new position, finds a distracted tiger, and he begins to put shots on it. Unfortunately, his teammates are melting around him, but if there's one thing that doesn't melt easily, it's the clown shoe. The Tiger's able to pen a shot, but the KV-4 is struggling. Or sorry, the Super Pershing, I think, was the one that penned the shot. Ring-a-ding-ding, baby. Every single one of those shots just bounced. Let's see where they're hitting him. Oh. They're shooting at the transmission cover, which is possibly the thickest piece of armor on the front of the clown shoe. Pro tip, kids, don't shoot the lower hull of anything that looks like a Sherman, including the T1, the M6, and the clown shoe. The transmission armor on all of those family of tanks is actually the thickest part of its front plate, as far as I can recall. That also extends to the T14, now I mention it. You can do it if you have a very high pen gun, but if you are looking for a weak spot, that is not one. Juffo's team folds in the west. In fact, they begin running to the east, but the east flank has cut through these enemies here and is pushing on the enemy cap, with Juffo now helping to lead the charge. Now, he's been firing gold for a while, but he's in a clown shoe, so it's a premium tank. It's probably not going to end up costing him that much net loss. I don't know why he's firing those shots in sniper mode on the move. They're not likely to hit. If he wanted to still shoot, he could have just done it in third person, but that's minor nitpick, just difference in playstyle. I tend towards holding my shots unless I'm sure of a hit. Other people will fire even if they're not sure of a hit, just to try and keep the enemy from shooting at their teammates, or, you know, to keep them suppressed, which I guess works sometimes and other times doesn't. If you see me in my Soviet mediums, I do it a lot more often than those. I'll fire at people on the move even if I don't think I'm going to hit, just to keep their heads down and to try and make them panic. Oh look, AFK IS-3. Oh, who's going to say no to free damage? Not Juffo, that's for sure. This Tiger P is really struggling with the clown shoe. He doesn't know where to shoot it. But Juffo certainly knows where to shoot him. And he gets taken out by the KV-2. Oh, sorry, by the JT-88. I misread that badly. Juffo's team doesn't even have a KV-2. In case it isn't obvious, I only recently woke up and have not had my daily cup of tea yet, so I'm not fully awake. Juffo decides there's no point in trying to cap. He will go back and protect his own cap, because even though his team has the advantage, or the head start on cap time, if the enemy send a tank back to reset, then his team will be in trouble. So he pushes up along with the Indian towards his own cap, which the enemies have just now gotten on. .3601 gets spotted right next to the enemy cap, so he must have been hiding in that little bowl in A1, A2. KV-2 rolls up, fires its shot, takes out KV-85, but that then leaves Juffo able to roll right up into its face. He gets a shot in, and right as he's going to finish it, the Indian finishes it off for him. So he then has a shot loaded for the Tiger, which attempts to circle strafe him. Not going to work. Juffo's team is now fully off the cap. The Nashorn is pinned down by the 3601, and so he can't move into it, and the light tank has run south to help get a reset. Thankfully, Juffo is very close to his own cap now, and he has the armor and the hit points to tank at least one hit. Unless the KV-3 high rolls, that is. But he doesn't have the 122, so he cannot be one-shot. And it goes for the Indian anyway, which is the target it can see. Indian gets another reset in. Right as Juffo is about to take a shot, the Type 62 finishes it off. And so it's now just the 3601 up north and the Arty that need to be cleaned up. You can see just how much this map has changed. It's completely different in layout now. None of the old strats really work anymore. If you try and hold down on this ridge, there's a lot more usable land on the left that you can be shot from. Also the town extends right up to the base of the hill, so people can wind in and out of the buildings until they're practically on top of you. The forest obviously has been completely redone, so the forest doesn't even look similar to how it used to be, let alone play like it. And then the north corner up at A1, B1 is also different. I don't think those spots can get decent shots on hill any longer because of this town that's in the way. So really every single aspect of how this map plays out has been altered, and not just altered slightly, but altered drastically. So I think a lot of people, myself included, are going to have to relearn how to play this map. I've only had it a couple of times since it was changed, and as such I haven't yet figured out what I'm doing. I kind of just blunder around following my team and hope for the best. Basically I'm a puppy on this map. I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, and so until I get that sense of what's going on, I'm not going to be much help to my team, probably. 3601 goes down easy. Now Juffo goes for the Artie. He manages to catch it while it's already engaged by the scout. Unfortunately, his shot flies high and bounces off the top of the gun barrel. And before he can get his next shot off, the Type 62 hits. Pretty strong game in the Clown Shoe. It is a strong tank. It's a big target, it's not very fast, it has no camo, and its gun isn't the best, but it does have some very, very good frontal armor for its tier, and the most important thing though isn't the thickness of the armor, it's the way it's laid out. It's very counterintuitive to pubbies. They will aim for the transmission cover, which is some of the thickest armor on the tank, or they will aim for the vision slits, which on this have been up armored as well. Most of the places you would normally expect to have to aim on a tank are actually up armored on this, so it's very, very difficult for pubbies to adjust to shooting at one, especially when they never ever see them anymore. Now, it's astronomically unlikely that this tank will ever be up for sale in the future. It was part of a pre-order pack. It was briefly on sale in the store, but the people who pre-ordered it threw such a giant temper tantrum that Wargaming withdrew it from the store and never put it back up again. No doubt the people who pre-ordered it for something like 90 bucks wanted to keep their exclusive $90 tank, and nobody else was allowed to have it. So it's highly, highly unlikely it will ever be for sale again, but just in case you ever get the chance to pick one of these up, either, you know, Wargaming give you a special code in an event or something, it's a really good tank. Definitely keep it. It's just so easy to exploit pubbies with it because they don't face them. This is true of anything pubbies don't see often. They won't know how to pen it. This is why back in the day before they became popular, the 263 was probably one of the better tank destroyers in the game because pubbies didn't know where to shoot it. The VK7201, again, pubbies don't see them very often. They don't know where to shoot them. And so they end up shooting it in its thickest armor because they just assume, because it looks kind of like a Löwe, it is exactly like a Löwe, but it's not. I haven't actually even seen a 907, but I could imagine how pubbies would handle that very, very badly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and as ever, best of luck on the field. I'll see you next time.